This sample demonstrates how a program can gain access to command line arguments. So let's try this example in our code. And you can see that the main function signature changes, and now it is taking two parameters, argument counter and argument values. The slide is showing how the command line arguments are stored in the argv array. The initial element of this array is a pointer to a string of characters that always has the path and the executable name of the program. So you always get the name of your program in the first argument, so it's always present. So the argument counter is always 1 or greater. If additional parameters were specified on the command line, so this is an example of a Windows command prompt that I'm using here, and additional arguments are present, then they're stored in subsequent elements of this array. And notice that this is an array of pointers, and in this loop we're using cout to print the actual command line arguments. Notice that my index starts at 1, so that when I print the arguments, I only print the arguments provided by the user, ignoring the initial name of the program. But we can change it and do it differently if we need to access the name of the program as well. So let's compile and run the code, but I'm noticing there is a typo. This is an index, and so this variable should be an index. I'll save it, and this time build, run the code, and so you see that this program is not printing anything because, of course, in the debug run there are no command line arguments provided. I could go to my project configuration and add command line arguments there, but what I can also do is that I can just use the program that was built, and this is actually an x64 configuration, so this is my program right here, and I'll just try to run it from the command line. So I'm just jumping to a command line using command line on my local machine. I can change my directory to the current location of the program, clear screen, and the name of the project is week01. So I can simply drag and drop this and run this code. You can see that the program isn't printing anything, but what I could do is change this starting value of index to 0 to be able to accept the first argument, which is the name of the program. And of course I need to build it, and this time when I run it, it prints exactly the path to the program the way it was provided. If I shorten my command to just use the name of the program like this, that will be now a shortened name, and of course I can shorten it even more to this, and now it changes to this. Right? So if I want to print additional arguments which I need to provide, let's say 1, 2, and 3, then you can see that these arguments are successfully processed by this loop, so we can easily get access to these parameters. What I can do also on the command line, if I want to group the words with embedded spaces in them, I can use quotes. You can see that this time 1, 2, 3 is accepted as a single argument on the command line. And also, if I really have to embed the quotes in the actual argument, I can do that too by using backslash, using the escape character like this, embedded inside the string, and this time you see that the double quotes were actually accepted as part of the parameter itself. So this just demonstrates how you can use the command line and what are the possible options for you. But generally speaking, most of the program actually ignore the name of the program. You don't have to, but you can ignore it, and you can then use it any way you like. Remember that you get these command line arguments as strings in an array like this. So this is coverage of command line arguments in C and C++ environment.